What's going on, friends?
Crude oil steady after API came in as surprise build ahead of OPEC Plus and EIA.
Just a few minutes to that Canadian PMI number coming up, as you can see here on the live stream. Right on, Keefe. So we'll let that news come out, and then we'll start our stream. Let's just suck down some coffee. In fact, I could use a new reload. Let me give you a news update. All right, here comes an update. And then the news is in 7 minutes.
US dollar ticks up with Fed's Musalam pushing back on rate cut bets for December NART. Crude oil steady after API came in as surprise build ahead of OPEC Plus and EIA. Fed's barking, I'm encouraged by where inflation is headed. Pound sterling's upside stalls as Bank of England Bailey predicts
in as surprise
4 interest rate cuts in 2025.
Barking, I'm
Fed's Musalam.
inflation
Wait
is
to
headed.
see data before deciding on
Upside stalls as Bank of England Bailey predicts 4 interest rate cuts in 2025.
Fed's Musalam. We'll wait to see data before deciding on December meeting.
Oil prices gain after U.S. labor data. Israel-Lebanon tensions in focus.
Dogecoin price prediction.
Euro-U.S. dollar slides as traders brace for volatility ahead of French no-confidence vote. Futures pointing to initial strength on Wall Street.
Fed's Musalam. Time may be approaching to slow or pause rate cuts.
Four minutes. Canadian PMI, 4 minutes. Can you see the calendar on your left? It's highlighted in pink. It does that when we get close. And then it'll start flashing in the last 60 seconds. And then we will get the results live. Gold prices edge higher. South Korea turmoil spurs safe haven demand. See, it's flashing. 23 seconds. Still no number, huh? Wow, what a delay. Come on, Kenyatta. Wow, what a delay. Still no actual. Wowzer. Hey, it's not us, it's them.
S&P Global Services PMI, NOV, coming up in 15 minutes, 51 expected. S&P Global Services PMI, NOV, coming up in 15 minutes, 57 expected.
Gold prices edge higher. South Korea turmoil spurs safe haven demand. Okay, looks like a good number, up 51.2. By the way, did you like the heads up that we have news in 15 minutes? U.S. NOV. Maybe it should be November. U.S. PMI. That was neat, right? Do you like the radar sound? I love it. All right, I'll grab that cup of joe and then we'll go. Are you guys alive? What's going on? You're quiet. Fingers broken? Back! Caught you looking for the same thing. It's a new thing. Check out this Supreme. I'm living low next to the bass. Turn up the radio. Yeah, all right. G'day, mate. Hey, whoa, yeah, ya mum. All right, let's get on to it. Welcome to Forex.today, the YouTube community of 1 billion foreign exchange traders. We gather here today to conduct technical and fundamental analysis with the overriding goal of planning our trades in advance. Hey, if you can swing over to the free Squawk service that some people charge $300-400 a month, I've launched one that's free. It's available to you because I love you. You are my sweet baby. But I need you to subscribe, like, comment, and do all those things to tell YouTube it's freaking awesome. Yeah, so we just got the ISM numbers out live. It's pretty cool. But subscribe and all that kind of stuff, because after running the Squawk Box for about a week nonstop, YouTube actually shut it down, so I had to start a new one. So if you subscribe, you'll get updated to the new URL, and that you'll be updated that I've actually started a new one. So it's worth a minimum of $100 a month, probably closer to $250 a month. It's free. Yeah, there you go. Compliments of the firm. That's a good deal, don't you think? And you know what I do is I either run it on my phone if I'm on my laptop outside, or I run it on my machine, either this machine when I'm here, or this machine when I'm there, but I run it on the opposite machine, so as I'm working and trading, I can hear the news without taking my eyes off the charts. It's pretty cool. It's 24 hours a day. Cool. So anyways, that's brought to you by my firm, your firm, traders.com. We automate your fundamentals, your technicals. We have volatility radars. We have usually about 5 hours of performance coaching every day. You got to get involved. I sent out an email yesterday afternoon for those that are not pro members and for those that are not annual members. To everybody else, I sent you an email, and I'm begging you to upgrade your account to pro membership by offering you a sweet ass deal. So I hope you step up and take the offer. I want you to be around in 2025 as a pro member, because I have some things in the pipeline that'll be very beneficial to you, but you'll need to be a pro member. So I made you an offer. Hopefully you can't refuse. Cool. So we'll use traders.com in a little bit. The one thing that you're going to need beyond traders.com, because you have fundamentals, you have technicals, you have vol, you have performance coaching, but you also need execution. And for that, you need Traders Way. They're an ECN with straight-through processing. I recommend them. You should start there. Check them out. And you say, well, Wayne, I already have a broker. Yeah, it probably sucks. Almost all brokers are just essentially dark pools. They throw you into a pool, and they assume and even hope and want every single one of their traders to lose money, because that's how a dark pool makes money. Traders Way is not like that at all. They have a completely different technology, a completely different business model. They actually want you to succeed. It's in their best interest for you to win. So start there. You need an ECN. That's the bottom line. So when you do diligence, like if you don't have an ECN, fire your broker. Okay. The second thing is find an ECN. This is a good one. You should check them out, see if they can earn your loyalty and respect. And then you'll have everything: fundamentals, technicals, vol, performance coaching, and awesome execution. TRADARS and Traders Way. Makes sense. It makes sense, doesn't it? It's almost like there's genius behind all of this. Uh-huh. Should BRIC members be worried? Not Russia. Does Brazil and India and China, for example, do these countries want to buy and sell with the United States of America? Yeah, then they should shut down this nonsense. Pretty simple, Bradley. So this has been going on for quite some time. And people that are members of TRADARS, would ask me, so, hey, the BRICS are meeting and they're trying to create a different currency and all this kind of stuff. And the U.S. government did nothing. Trump's coming in and he's like, right off the bat, if you do that, we're going to screw you over. So right off the bat, we have deterrence now. So it'll be interesting. Now, Timothy says gasoline prices are going up in South Africa. You know what? I just analyzed Canada, the United States, New Zealand, and Australia. And I think maybe even was it Europe? Yeah, I guess, and Europe. Timothy, gasoline prices in all these economies are down significantly. So if it's up in South Africa, I don't know, maybe it's the value of the rand has collapsed, or your government doesn't get you good deals. I mean, dude, shouldn't you buddy with Angola? What's the big deal? Angola's not that far. Well, Bradley, the way that Canada's being run, nobody would want it to be part of their country. I'm Canadian and I love Canada. But even yesterday I was reviewing the economic data, and it's so bad that it doesn't make any sense. Everything looks terribly random, like a ship lost out at sea with no rudder. Just kind of drifting in the wind, drifting in the currents, spinning around in circles. It's bad, man. It's bad. So I've decided, I think I should make it official. I am going to run for Prime Minister of Canada. Canada, I want to fix you. The problem is I don't want to live in Ottawa. Ottawa? What the heck? How did that happen? Thank you, Jimmy. Yeah, Ottawa. Well, forget that. The first thing I'm going to do is move everything. Yeah, I'm going to sell it to the United States for cheap. Yeah, I don't know. Canada, see, like, I know exactly how to fix the United States' problem. That sounds arrogant, but when I'm talking about sort of inflation stuff, sounds arrogant, but actually the problem is well documented. Like, we've spent decades and decades and decades and decades and decades studying inflation, trying to understand where it comes from and how to deal with it. So we're in a situation that's very, very fixable. It's very well understood. The government is just not doing it. And you're like, well, the Fed is, selling bonds off its balance sheet. Yeah, that's only half the equation. And it doesn't really reduce inflation. That's not, because the Fed didn't issue any money. The Fed issued credit. So it's not really inflationary. It kind of can be, but then you can just dial it back. It's not a problem. You just dial it back and you reduce it. You can buy bonds, you can sell bonds. Not a big deal. It's not really how the Fed works anymore, but there was quantitative easing.
Brazil services growth eases in November. Gold prices edge higher. South Korea turmoil spurs safe haven.
Sorry, I got news running behind me. I can hear myself talking. That's terrible.
Rate cut bets for December. Crude oil steady after API came in as surprise.
Cool news.
55.5 expected.
Price build ahead of OPEC Plus and EIA. Fed's barking. I'm encouraged by where inflation is headed.
It's cool. I just got a ping. I'm being updated. There's news in 15 minutes. It's pretty cool, man.
Fed's Musalam will wait to see data before deciding on December meeting.
Oil prices gain after U.S. labor data. Israel-Lebanon tensions in focus.
Okay, mixed but long-term on. All right. Ooh, another radar.
S&P Global Services PMI NOV coming up in 15 minutes. 57 expected.
Oil prices gain after U.S. labor data. Israel-Lebanon tensions in focus.
Ba, 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 ba. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was thinking kind of the same thing, Jim, too, where I'm like, I don't know if he's a con man, but he's definitely liberal. And he would do what you would expect a liberal to do. I mean, but I would be more conservative. I am more conservative. But I'm not like a Fox watching crazy Republican either. Did you guys hear the radar? I'm not running it on this machine. Can you actually hear the voices behind me as I'm talking? That's interesting because I thought this was noise canceling. Apparently it's not, huh? Or are you also on the other screen? Yeah. So mixed bag, except, so a few hours ago, I met with the fundamental trading team, which you can have a fundamental trading team membership or you can have a pro membership that gives you everything. And once again, I made you a sweet ass deal to upgrade your account to pro. Will you please do that? But we met earlier this morning, and we already know all these Aussies getting crushed. Aussies getting crushed. So you could be hours into it by now, huh? Let's take a quick update and see what's happened in our world so far today. So I keep getting notified over my shoulder here that we have news coming up at 10 that it's ISM. And this is what we're expecting, 55.7. Great. ADP, $1.46. Okay. Now notice that we're 184. Is that right? I thought it was 233. Huh. Well, I got conflicting messages. But anyways, it's significantly higher last month. We expected 150, but we got just above 150, and we came out just below 150, and now we're expected 120. So 200 something, 180 something, 150 something, less than 150. The next one's likely to be closer to 120. Definitely a downward trend, and that's what the Fed wants. And if that's happening, they can cut further. So as Denise will tell you, if you look at the FedWatch tool, it shows precisely that the market, because of this new news, expects the Fed to more likely cut, if you want to say it that way. The likelihood of a Fed cut in December has increased. Now, normally that means U.S. dollar weakness, And all of this should be old news. You should already know that Aussie's terribly weak and that ADP has positioned the Fed funds market to U.S. dollar weakness and the likelihood of a Fed cut coming up on December 18th. And all this should already be old news. And this is the new news coming up. And the Powell speech at 1 is the next news after that. If you don't know any of this, you're way behind the curve, man. So just so you know.
Composite PMI registered at 54.9 below expectations, 55.3 in November.
US November S&P Global Final Services PMI +6.1, +7.0 prelim.
In November.
United States
US November S&P Global Final Services PMI +6.1, +7.0 prelim.
United States S&P Global Services PMI came in at 56.1 below forecasts, 57 in November. It's cool, right? Isn't that neat? I was trying to get that up there because I could hear it. So again, if you want to join us later today, this runs 24 hours a day now. If you want to swing on by later, it's there for you. I didn't mean to cause you trouble. I didn't mean to do you wrong. All right, no more Coldplay. We have a rule here. No Coldplay. Take a look at scorecards. No diggity, no Dow, Nikkei, oil. Yeah. The big discussion we had several hours ago is the move by the S&P 500 from 10 yesterday to 6 today. No, I did not. What happened? Diabetes? That's terrible. Oh, really? Both? How do you get infection on both eyes? Wow, that must be scary, huh? Anyways, here we go. Well, he can still play the piano, which I guess is, a little bit of saving grace. But like Beethoven went deaf. So if you know the song Moonlight Sonata, it's so sad and somber, melancholy. But if you study the history, he wrote that while he was completely deaf. So when he wrote it, he would put his head on top of the piano to hear the vibrations, to feel the vibrations as he wrote the song. It's like probably the saddest song ever written. A classic song ever written, right? There's no words or anything. But can you imagine being a genius like Beethoven and being deaf, completely deaf? You're like, oh my God. So anyways, but that's terrible. How frightening, huh? So we're just looking at oil. There's a little bit up. How do we look at this so you can go COT is okay. You see, it's an okay month. COT is okay. Technical trend is bullish. Okay. Looks like the economy is expanding, so that's good. So there's a little bit of up, and that couldn't last as much as February. Okay. Buy at the end of November and hold it to the end of January. Yeah, here's end of November was actually the bottom. Interesting. So you could do it if you want. OPEC, this is about OPEC OPEC extending its production cuts. Okay, that's fine. Okay, retail's heavily long. Notice this. Very rare that institutions and retail agree like almost exactly. I don't know. I'm leaning on bearish, but it certainly isn't now.
Imminent OPEC Plus decision. Geopolitical turmoil in focus.
Oil prices edge up ahead of imminent OPEC Plus decision. Geopolitical turmoil in focus. Cool. Didn't I just talk about that? Thank you, Wayne. You're welcome, Wayne. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Derek. What's up, Derek? Oh, I see you and Jim are going back and forth. Yeah. I try to limit political discussions as much as possible. I know it's very difficult. To economics and trading as much as possible, right? So you have a blue wrench, Jim. But anyways, Derek, all we're just saying is, biased, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Political rhetoric is just really, it doesn't add to the value of interpreting a potential trade plan. That's all. And, I fall into it too. Once in a while, I'll make a Biden comment and stuff because I don't think he was a very good president at all. So, there you go. I just made a political comment. But I don't say like con man and stuff. So, it's the is it jingoism? Anti-jingoism? I don't know. It's, let's just focus on trading kind of thing, right? But I don't believe, because, Derek, I have read all the economic reports from Canada, and I do it on an ongoing basis. Whether it's the Prime Minister or not, their economic situation is a mess. And it's quite different from all of the other major economies around the world. Canada is in a very unique mess, and it seems to be man-made. Probably Trudeau. But anyways, right? But see, Derek, in a statement like that, many people will disagree with you. Okay? No, that is not true, Derek. I will make money either way, no matter who's in power. And I understand the policies of liberals and the policy of conservatives, and I have to make adjustments either way. I agree that Trump is an extreme candidate, but that's what got elected. But so is Biden in his own way, but it doesn't matter.
ISM Services PMI, NOV coming up in 15 minutes. 55.5 expected.
Focus.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, the news is out. There's so much news today, it doesn't even fit. Yeah. Cool. Mm-hmm. So anyways, what a world, what a life, I'm in love. So just to see like where we've been as we add the new numbers into the database, you know, we can go out, let's say 18 months. Okay. And the biggest thing here is that Europe and the UK and many other countries are nowhere near these numbers. Okay? Okay? So it's quite different from the rest of the world. Okay? Their business, you mean Canada?
United States factory orders.
Looking at Canada, for example, it's an exporting country, and one of the things I read yesterday from the government agency of Canada is that they have more imports than exports. And that's just outlandish.
From previous 58.1. United States ISM Services PMI registered at 52.1, below expectations, 55.5.
So 52.1 is just fine. It's about right. Perfectly fine. It's a good number. It's not as good as 53, but it's just way better than the rest of the world. Well, not only was it in extreme, but companies, remember the next one, David? The next stat was that companies are unprofitable, and yet they have to pay more for their employees. That's not what they teach in business school, huh? When you lose money, raise wages? No, you're supposed to, right? You're supposed to grab a whip and walk into the factory and say, all right, you knuckleheads, you either increase your productivity or you're fired. Yeah, and I think my comment last night, David, was like, that's what it should be annually, but it's definitely not quarterly. So, but the thing is, here's the point, right? You should know these things. So notice that some of us can have a casual conversation and say, oh my God, 1.7% wage inflation in Canada is just quarter over quarter, but that should be more like the annual growth, right? And at the meantime, Canadian companies are not profitable. Why? They have to pay their employees too much, and yet productivity is down, GDP is slow, the economy is sluggish, Canada imports more than they export, and you're like, dude, that is a boatload of details about Canada. And one of the things that we often talk about, and we did yesterday, is that if you plan on being a professional trader, which means you trade opium, other people's money, you should be able to have a casual conversation about almost any of the major economies around the world and have an intelligent conversation like, oh, Canada, it's a mess. And you're cutting into your filet mignon, sipping on your red wine. Your client's like, oh, well, what do you mean Canada's a mess? Oh, my God. Well, let's just start with GDP is falling. Canada export less than it imports, yet it's an exporting economy. So somebody's not buying their stuff. Companies' profit levels are collapsing. And despite all of this slow activity, wages are skyrocketing out of control. Hey, man, you're informed. And that's what we're trying to do at Traders. So, like last night, I downloaded, what was it, about 10 economic reports and read them line by line with our group. So that's why we can have a casual conversation like professionals and have the details, right? Isn't that amazing? That's what we're supposed to be doing. So a 52 something is just fine. Okay, we got a 52 something and that's just fine. I have to reload the whole page, I guess. Huh? I wonder if it's come in yet. I'm not sure when it pulls. Like it might be at the top of the hour. Yeah. So this will update soon. And it's okay. So the number's okay. We can put that into context of these numbers are okay. In fact, comparatively to other economies, they're great. Okay, see, after COVID, we dropped to, looks like 40, 41, 42. Okay, I want you to think about this. When the United States was at 10% unemployment, the entire economy shut down. Global economics collapsed to unprecedented levels, and the United States PMI services dropped to 42. Do you know what Europe is right now? Their manufacturing is at 42 and 43 and 44. And I want you to put that in a context of Europe is like that right now on the manufacturing side. And services is significantly better, but not good. But do you see how if you put it in the context, you're like, the German manufacturing industry is in recession, in my humble opinion. To the same rate that the United States was at the peak of COVID. Oh my God. Oh my God. So I want you to understand what these numbers mean. So again, it's hard to be a trader if it comes out like 45.2 versus 48 expected. You're like, oh, 45.2, not 48. You're like, oh, I don't know what it means. Oh, it's a big deal. There's a big difference. And if the United States is popping out, 52 and a half, and the UK is at 48, that's a big difference. The United States is expanding, and the UK would be contracting. Yeah, so anyways, isn't it good to know? It's great to have a database that you can manipulate and therefore then think about it. You're like, okay, this is normal, 55, 55, these are all good. Look at near 60 is incredible. These were great months, and then it slowed down, collapsed. Whoa. Okay, so it can go up a little higher, but right now it's good. And then you put it together comparative analysis wise. You know, like we're doing a lot of comparative analysis here. And, okay, you don't see it here. But when you compare Europe to the United States using services PMI, which just came out, 52.3 or whatever it was, it favors the US dollar by a long shot. Isn't that nice to be able to trade it? We put that in the score. It's nice, right? Yeah, it's nice. Oh, it's real nice. Not yet, Timothy. Timbo, you can guess on that, but I haven't seen signs of it yet, right? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, David. It's a good question. If more, yeah, I don't know. Does it provide more liquidity? Yeah, don't know. Yeah, it's cool, right, Keefe? It's like a bowl full of cereal with ice cold milk. Whole milk too. Very nice. All right, so we're bullish on the S&P. We're only pulling a 6 today. But you know. Yeah, it does. Yeah, you're right. Notice that somewhere in December is some profit taking, and it's very likely that this happens soon. How many people here read the COT report? For example, even if you didn't read the COT report, right? We already incorporated that into the score, and oh my gosh, look at that, a hard -2. Yeah, well, you should know why, and you should be able to specifically tell me. This data has come out. It's factual, and there was a massive shift in the market. Now, is there a fast way to actually figure out this COT without going to the COT page? Because we have a COT page here. But is there a way to get the facts about this, of why it dropped to a -2? Anybody? Where can I get this information quickly without actually going to the COT page?
U.S. October factory orders 0.2% versus plus 0.2%.
Type in a question mark if you have no idea what I'm talking about.
Prices paid up to 58.2 in November from previous 58.
Faster than that, Keefe, faster.
ISM services PMI.
I mean, we pull all this data out of the CFTC, so you don't need to go to the CFTC. I'm just saying, instead of going here to figure out what happened, What's the faster way? Because, like, why did that happen?
After US AD.
Yeah, not sure where I'm going. Yeah, I'm just not asking it. All right, cool. But that's why. Check this out, ladies and germs.
Oil prices edge up ahead of imminent OPEC Plus decision. Geopolitical turmoil in
Look.
focus.
Look.
States S&P Global Composite PMI registered at
Look.
4.9 below expectations, 55.3 in November.
Oh my gosh. I don't even know what your question is, Derek. But anyways, check that out. Look at the change week over week in the S&P 500. A 9% drop. So a couple of days ago, right before this came out, we were a 10 on this score. This came out a 9% drop in institutional positioning. Not only did bulls exit, and a lot of them, they actually, about 50% of the bulls taking profit actually became bears. Not just out, but actually short. For a 9% week over week change in positioning, and look at seasonality. Doesn't it look normal to you? So at some point you got to worry that you do get a change and that you're ready, willing, and able to even spot the change. Okay? So you're like, oh, okay, this is typically where the market goes from bullish to bearish. And then 2 days ago, there was a 9% change in institutional positioning. People definitely went to cash, and half of those people went bearish. They sold. So maybe they're hedging, or maybe they're just making profit. I don't know. They're not actual bona fide hedgers, so they're just actually selling. Because remember, we take out hedgers, we take out retail. So this is just hedge funds, and oh my gosh. Something. Okay, you see how awesome this page is now? I hope you're in love where you're like, dude, a -2, what the heck? And then your eye goes over here. A 9% drop in positioning. Holy schnicker. Yeah. Something's foul in the state of Denmark. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's it, right, Peter? Yeah, it's like, okay, it is going. Yes, I do something called Trade Non-Farm Payrolls Live. So the thing is, right, you can anticipate at some point, right, Peter, that you stay bullish as long as it's technically bullish. But we do know profit taking's coming. Now, once again, if you're a member of TRADARS, traders.com, and you have access to our fundamental trading team, then we've already discussed the window of the drop in great detail and why it occurs. Oops. Beyond just the numbers, but why do these things exist? And so, again, if you want to know more, join the community, bro. Let's go. Let's get on with it. So you can see euro dollar usually goes up, but it's bearish. It usually goes up. Seasonally, strong, but you put that in the basket, no so good. So I'm almost always buying euro dollar this time of year, but I don't buy that. In fact, when we were at like 108, so 300 pips higher, I said this could go to parity and even down to 80. 80! That's almost 3,000 pips lower than what I said 3 weeks ago. Yeah. So I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but we're falling now, and this is one of the best times of year to own euro dollar. So if it's falling during the best time of year, what's it going to do during the worst time of the year? Uh-huh. You guys think we're going to have a big number or a big revision for NFP? Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with the 12, huh? All right, so that's enough of this. You guys want to do technical analysis? Let me ask it this way. If I did technical analysis on 3 assets, what would the assets be? Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Isn't it funny? Coldplay can make songs like that. You're like, that's. Well, what about their big song? Like, really? Euro, dollar, gold, Bitcoin. Yeah, and what? That's it? Well, where is everybody else? Everybody's got broken fingers today. All right. Let's do the technicals again. Euro, dollar. Down. Okay. This is weakness with a threat. Okay. This is strength with a threat. Ba 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 ba. Strength, threat, strength, threat, strength, opportunity. Okay. Ready to go? Strength, threat, non-directional, weakness, opportunity. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, you're like, what the heck is he talking about? All right, let me solve this problem for you. YouTube.com/Forex.today. This is us. This is me. Oh my God. Okay, here we are. And you go to the description below. And it says, build trading muscle memory. Download our chart pattern flashcards for free. So I'm going to copy this. And I'm going to paste it. And once you download those patterns, you know what the heck I'm talking about. Because I teach you 20 different patterns and how to trade them. And I use SWOT analysis, which analyzes internal and external, okay, forces of the opportunity. Sky Killer says how you're supposed to read the position. Yeah, I actually did that a day or two ago. I just don't remember where I did it. But yeah, it's so easy. I'll just go ahead and do it now. Okay, Sky Killer. So you go to cftc.gov. Okay, you go to Commitment of Traders Report. You go to Financial Long Format. And then you see here's the Canadian dollar. Okay, here's the dealers. You don't care about that necessarily. Okay, you could look at asset management and institutional. There's leveraged funds like hedge funds and all that kind of stuff. So you can choose which one you want to use, asset managers or hedge funds, right? And so you see here, like, so now let's say we're going to use leveraged funds, right? Hedge funds. So you see that for the Canadian dollar, 7,000 contracts long, 84,000 contracts short. This market is heavily short the Canadian dollar. Now, if you look at the other one, asset managers, 28,000 contracts long, 150,000 contracts short. Absolutely, totally bearish, short the Canadian dollar. Now, what else is there? Here's the change week over week. Okay, not total, but the change, absolute versus relative. There are almost 4,000 less bulls, and there's 12,000 less bears. So money came out, but the market is still very much net short. Okay? That's how you want to look at all that. And of course, I did this over and over and over and over and over a year. For years, I just looked at this. I would download it onto a spreadsheet, and I would spend hours and hours and hours analyzing that. Okay? What's up, Chrissy? And now you just pull it up under fundamentals. All right, some people wanted some commodities. Let's do that. Okay, oil, short term. Okay, you ready? On the short-term chart, this is weakness and an opportunity. You're already a half an hour late, so you pretty much missed it. It looks like we already hit target. You see that? It actually hit target already just in the last 30. So 30 minutes ago, we were here, and the projection was here, but we've already hit it, and people have already taken profit. It's already done. Already happened. You already missed it. Came and went. Okay? Now you're like, yeah, it's only 30 pips. Well, they're not all big. It's a 15-minute chart. What do you think? Okay? Silver. Okay, silver is strength with a threat. So what does that mean? This pattern, the pattern on silver, is bullish. The next leg of this pattern is bearish. So that's a threat to bulls. So what should bulls do? Buy the dip. Oh my God. Imagine all your trading was based on this type of analysis, huh? Here it is again on the hourly. Buy the dip. So it came down. Notice it actually hit the yellow line and popped back up. It's already come and gone. So that was 6 hours ago. So where were you? Yeah, Jim's already in and out, right? Done and dusted. Bob's your uncle. And when you look at Brent, non-directional, 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 I'm not interested in Brent. And everything else didn't even show up. On all the other time frames, there's no reliable, repeatable pattern. Imagine everything was a reliable, repeatable pattern that you traded. Backed up by fundamentals. Now you sound like a professional. Okay, this is strength with threat. This is weakness with an opportunity. This is strength with an opportunity. Look at that. Okay, look at this. An hour ago, we identified an up. Cool. Neato. Right on. Okay, DAX here. Strength, opportunity. DAX on a higher time frame, strength, threat. ASX, strength, threat. Looks pretty early for some of these trades, huh? NASI, and 2 days ago, bullish opportunity. Huh? Strength, opportunity. So 2 days ago we were here. We're expected to get it up here soon. Okay. Go from 21.19 to 21.191 to 21.987. So 21.200 to 22. So 800-point move. Oh my God. 800 points on the Nizzy Nazzy. Oh, for shizzle. So I want to remind everybody here, you probably received emails from me offering you a way to commit to traders.com for a year and not have to shell out a huge sum of money. In fact, you end up saving $600 a year. And you don't have to have a huge pile of cash in the beginning. You need this. You need the 5 hours of performance coaching a day.
US dollar skids lower after ISM services report misses expectations. United States EIA crude oil stocks change below expectations.
So I hope you put your girl panties on and upgrade your account.
5.007 mem. US service sector growth slows more than expected in November.
Okay, we got news in the Asian session today. Lots of Canadian news tomorrow, 8:30 and 10. And then all the way out to Friday, we have NFP and then consumer sentiment. Nice, right? We still have a lot of news this week. How nice is that? So what we're probably going to see is Canada is still importing more than the export, and that is terrible. But we saw Australia go through that too. Australia is another situation where they have an entire economy based on natural resource exports, and yet for quite some time they were importing more than they were exporting. So what the hey? Well, that means basically China wasn't buying their stuff. And they probably imported roughly the same amount that they normally would import, but they had no customers for their products. Well, that's a problem, right? Just think of it, each country as a business. So if Australia sells wheat and beef and gold and diamonds and red wine, they need buyers. Yeah. So it's not good when there's no buyers for these things, huh? Well, Chris, it's likely to be on trend. Okay, so we'll go over that maybe tomorrow or even Friday morning. I'll go over the trend. It'll be about trend. But the thing is, what you would expect is there's going to be a big revision to last month's number. But I'll cover that on Friday. Okay? But to answer questions like that, you need to remove like all levels of guessing, right? Right? So, Chris, what you should do is you just simply go to NFP, okay, and pull it up. And then you think about it. What do you think it's going to be? Does this look right? Does this 12 look correct to you? Okay, so there seems to be a revision. I want you to think like, what's the average? Oh, 238. But we know that's quite a while ago, right? So why don't we do like over the last quarter? 146. Okay, so yeah, short-term average 146, so somewhere between 100 and 146. Okay, but the whole point, Chris, is you don't need me to do this now. You should just know all this, right? You have it. You can manipulate all this in a live database, right? Yeah. Right on, Lucky. What's going on? How you doing, huh? Okay. One other thing you might spot here is you can kind of connect these, huh? So I would put it in a window here, right? Where's NFP going to be? Somewhere in this window. And call me crazy, but I think this is higher than 12. Stone cold crazy. Probably closer to expectations, huh? See, guys, you're the smart money in the room. Not me. I'm just someone who works for you. I'm on your team. I am your economist on your trading team. Okay? But all of this data is accessible. So you are the smartest person in the room now, huh? You see how wonderful this all is? So let's go back to the scalping tool. I'm just saying you can prepare here and you can think about like what Canadian trade balance means and deficit. Look at this deficit. How bad is the deficit? Oh my God, Canada, what are you talking about? Deficit on trade balance. But see how I can casually just talk about that? Like, oh man, they import more than they export, so there's a trade deficit. And you just pull it up and you're like, see, there it is. You need to know your stuff. IVPMI, okay? Cool. You see there's no scalp if it's greater than 53, right? There's no scalp at all. But there's scalping opportunities if it's less than. So again, if the news is bad, yeah, there's some scalping going on. You know, scalp. And you can take a look at it. Okay, if you prefer to sell Canadian dollar, because that just makes sense. Okay, here's all the data. Stone cold crazy. Okay, like good, right? Oh my God, this is good. But I wanted to get to the implied volatility. And toit. Oh my God. Okay, hard pass. Biddy, bears already sold, bulls already bought. You're already too late. Okay, if you trade this now, you're the monkey in the middle. You're hours late on the long. You're like a half a day late. You're like 12 hours late on the short. What are you doing? Okay, you should get upset by all of that. Okay? Okay, like what you like this. Like think of it this way. You want to trade now? How come you weren't here or how come you weren't here? Ugh. Right? Ugh. Oy vey. What are you doing? Okay, let's S&P. Yeah, you know me. Okay, let's look at this a little closer because we all love the stock market. What did you already know? You knew hours and hours and hours ago you want to buy a dip and take it north. If you're a bull. If you're a bear, you haven't had an opportunity yet today. So you either buy a dip or you don't buy a dip. What's the problem? Plan A, plan B. Stop placement. So most likely, like you would do this and then put your stop right below the 4 hour. Why? Based on what happens on Wednesdays this time of day, oh yeah, it could collapse below the 4 hour, but it statistically usually does not do that. So based on past performance, we know this doesn't predict future results, but think of it, I don't know what the actual implied volatility number is, but think of it as, 80% of the time, it doesn't dip below the 4 hour. Not on Wednesdays, not on Wednesday mornings. Now, maybe about throughout the day, it totally can reverse, but it's not likely. That's mathematically improbable right now. So if you're a bull, you buy a dip, right? Now, what's the other way of doing it? You can buy roll reversals. Didn't quite go there. Okay. You can buy a moving average. Okay. You can buy a Fibonacci. Okay. You could buy a daily pivot point, assuming it's somewhere over there. You see? But here's the thing. You know what the number one thing is here? You know you're a buyer ahead of time. And for those that show up every New York morning and it's you're here to figure out what to do, you've already lost. Maybe you make money today or this week. That's fine. Maybe you have a good month in December. Fine. You're not going to make it. Eventually, you're going to go broke. Yep. But it's not about being right. It's about clarity. So if you knew yesterday what you wanted to do today, then this is a very clear opportunity for you. Now, if it fell a little lower, what's your plan B? I'd say somewhere here and somewhere here. So somewhere between price action and implied vol, which seems to be about a 50%, which seems just as valid, right? But the number one thing you know for sure is you're not a bear. You're not going to sell. You don't sell highs. You buy higher lows. And if you have that level of clarity on your intent, you're going to be a superstar in the investing world. Did you hear that? You're going to be a superstar in the trading world.
U.S. dollar turns red after services from ISM and S&P falls short of expectations.
U.S. service sector growth slows more than expected in November.
See, ADP can cut interest rates now, right?
falls.
Gold.
French
Sizable
President Macron
liquidations
aims
over
to
the
name new
coming
Prime
week are
Minister
possible.
swiftly
Yes.
if government falls.
USISM
Gold.
services PMI
Sizable
rose less than
liquidations
expected
over
in
the
November.
coming week are possible. TDS. US ISM services PMI rose less than expected in November.
United States factory orders, MOM, meets forecasts 0.2% in October.
It's killer, right? Dude, look at all these tools that I've built for you. Do you understand the complexity of these tools? That squawk that runs 24 hours a day. This implied volatility of measuring all the candles on every asset on every Wednesday at this time of day and the previous hour and the next hour, and being able to plot implied volatility on the hourly, 4-hour, and daily, and then continuously update it without you even having to refresh the page. This is millions of candles. Yeah, okay, so Pegler's up, so yeah, that makes sense. So if you are a member, all members of traders.com can go to the community section, and we are about to start. 10:45. Yeah. And we just started a session run by David Pegler based on price action. But every once in a while, he dips his toes into options trading strategies. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Okay? Yeah. So anyways, head over there if you're a member of traders.com. All members have access. So we have 47 people that have RSVP'd. If you're not one of those, what the heck is wrong with you? So again, I've sent out an email offering everybody an incentive to upgrade to the maximum membership level at a massive discount. Okay? Massive discount for the all-in-one package, and you pay it monthly. Okay? Not annually. You're an annual member, but pay monthly. Oh my God. Chris, if you want to be on the list, there's many different ways. Probably the best one is to download, the flashcards for free. Download them, and then you're on my list. Okay? So you get two things. You get our flashcards, and then you get on the list. All right. Peace on earth. May the pips be with you. May your profits be above average. Please have a kick-ass day in the markets. I'll see you later. Remember, use the live news trading squat box on the